Hey everybody, I'm Philip,
And I'm Justin.
and together we are Pajamas, and we need to have a talk. Not like I need to have a talk, I guess. As of right now, we're halfway through season 5. People are gonna be like, oh, excuse me, technically you're over halfway. Well, halfway is the middle of episode 7. I can't just like pause episode 7 at 20 minutes and be like, let's do a video, and then, I mean, I could, but it'd be stupid.
It would be a very unique intermission. I don't usually see videos do that.
Right? But no, for the first time ever, I'm doing a mid-season like discussion thing, also known as my journey with the 11th Doctor. So I said we're on episode 7. We're done with episode 7, and I've been editing back into the season because we have not been able to watch anything over the last week or so because we both had illnesses. We traded off weekends with illnesses. But before we continued, I wanted to make this video while it's still fresh in my head, and before we continued on, when I had more to influence my my discussion. So as you know, right now in episode 7, I'm pretty happy with the way things are. We have the Doctor, and we have Amy, and we have Rory, and it's nice. We just had the Dream Lord episode, and that was fun. That was really cool.
Definitely.
And I'm enjoying the interactions, and I can comfortably say that the shadow that Tennant cast over this season is gone. Unfortunately, that shadow lasted a wee bit longer than it should have. Unfortunately, the 10th Doctor poisoned the well so much for me that it seeped in to season 5. So much like people back in 2010 were guilty of not giving Matt Smith a chance because of the Tennant worship, which I don't understand. I guess I'm making this video to say I was wrong. Now, people might say, you've been wrong before. Why are you making a video now? This seems very self-indulgent. And to that I say, me? Self-indulgent? Where's my mirror? Like, they'll say, like, well, you were wrong about Donna. Yeah, I was wrong about Donna. We saw her in Runaway Bride. I was like, oh my God, you're annoying. Go away. She came back. Season 4, I was like, oh my God, no. And she ended up being amazing. She had character, and the character grew, and it was wonderful. The difference is how I felt about Donna in Runaway Bride. I stand by it. How I felt about The Blonde Nightmare. I stand by it. How I feel about the 10th Doctor. I stand by it. How I felt about Matt Smith in the beginning of the season. I don't stand by it because I was wrong. Because David Tennant portrayal of the Doctor like ruined, like scorched earth the Doctor for me for a while. So all these things I was complaining about, it wasn't fair. So like I said, much like people not giving Matt Smith a chance or being unfair to him back in 2010, I did the same thing, but for different reasons. Most people did it because they were so in love with Tennant. Because, you know, as long as you're cute, you get away with anything. I wasn't seeing the forest for the trees, and I freely admit that. I've said before, I'm not afraid to admit when I'm wrong. I'm making an entire freaking video about this. Not only am I going to say that I'm wrong, and I was wrong, I'm going to show you, I'm going to take you on the journey of how I found this out. So I was editing episode 1, and there's a couple of scenes in there. I was like, okay. Because I accused him of being still too Tennant-like. But that makes sense, because he's in the transition from Tennant to Matt Smith. At the end of the episode, he comes through with his, fancy new duds and says, I'm the Doctor. Also, did you notice, this is me nitpicking, but did you notice on the little holograms, it's like, I'm gonna flash on the screen so you can see it. It's like old Doctors, and then it shows Eccleston and Tennant, and then Matt Smith walks through it. Remember that part? You have all these different Doctors. You have Eccleston, and then Tennant is like the entire. He's like he looks like the face of Bo. He's like Tennant, but no, that's when he establishes himself as the Doctor at the end. But then we talked about how it felt like he was kidnapping her, and it was like, like 50 no's and a yes means yes, that kind of thing. I got, oh my God, just taken to the cleaners in the comments. I have not had to say I'm sorry, I was wrong, you were right so many times in my life. Because I was wrong. I was seeing like this possessive, predatory subtext there that wasn't there at all. He wasn't preying on her. He wasn't saying, like, ho, 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 He wasn't fish hooking her. He didn't really see her as Amy. He still saw her as Amelia. He made a promise to a little girl. So all he was doing was trying to keep that promise. when she said, you know, I grew up, and he says, I'll fix that. I was like, where's Chris Hansen? What he meant was that little girl who was all excited to go with me on this trip, because I'd be back in 5 minutes. I'm going to fix the fact that that you've been through psychologists and therapy and, you know, the Raggedy Doctor and the drawings and all of it. Basically, I'm going to make it up to you.
Also give her a sense of wonder and color in her life that usually adulthood gets rid of.
Yeah. It was while editing that I was like, But the first moment that I knew, okay, there's something here, is when Matt Smith was trying all the food. And this is going to be so tiny and minute. You're going to be like, why was it this thing? I don't know. My brain is weird. Some of you will attest to that. Run with that in the comments. This will be the video you can just like shit all over me, and I'm like, okay, yeah, it's fine, it's whatever. He's trying all the food. He tries the bacon, and he makes this like face, and it's so fucking cute. It's so fucking adorable. I'm like, how did I not see this? Okay, I know how, but now I'm looking at it like, okay, you're kind of adorable. I like this. And not in a sexual way, just like an adorable kind of portrayal. Things like adorable and cute aren't always like, you know, euphemisms for like, I want to fuck you. Just putting that out there. But then we go to episode 2, you know, The Beast Below. I do still stand by that Matt Smith's portrayal of, Matt Smith's emoting was lacking a little bit. But in his defense, and I didn't think of it this way until later, like later on down the line, his doctor doesn't really deal in emotions. He's more of an alien. So he wouldn't be overreacting and as like angry sounding and bossy and all that. He is bossy, but it's not as like authoritative bossy as Tennant was. Because it's a different kind of doctor. And I was so focused on what Tennant brought to the table that I was not seeing what Matt Smith did. So in that episode, I stand by most of what I said. But at the same time, I don't think my assessment now was fair. I kept it in and all that stuff because I said I kept the reactions as they were, or the reviews. I mean, I kept the reviews the same for, you know, authenticity. But it was in that one I'm like, okay, there's something. Okay, yeah, I see what he's going for now. I'm seeing the doctor as he is, not how he used to be. Episode 3, I stand by my opinions in that one. It was what it was. You liked it more than me. It's going to happen. It was more about the Daleks and their evolution. Episode 4. Episode 4 is my greatest shame. Episode 4 was The Time of Angels. And we had the return of River. Mm-hmm. We had the return of the Weeping Angels. But by then, if you listen to my commentary, I am just not feeling the doctor. I'm not feeling Amy. I'm like, this season is so mediocre. Not mediocre. This season is so lukewarm to me right now. Give me something. And they did. But the problem was, I was still so head in the sand with what Tennant had put me through that I missed so much of that episode. Like obvious things. Case in point, the entire bit before they go to the cave, the maze of the dead or whatever it was, or they're on the TARDIS. River's there. The doctor's there, Amy's there. And this entire back and forth between River and the doctor, where River knows more than he does. The doctor hates that. It's irritating him. And I missed that. Like we never commented on it. I never said anything about it at all. Because I was so like, River and the angels, and like there was just so much like cool stuff that I missed out on. But this one was like, holy shit, how did I miss all this stuff? Editing this episode really just like opened my eyes. It made me rethink everything else. Because we have this back and forth between them, and it's amazing. Because yes, River was still a good choice to bring in there for the glue to hold everybody together, to like to make them more cohesive. I guess not hold them together, but make them more cohesive. But at the same time, it wasn't as necessary as I made it out to be, because the doctor and Amy are fine, and Amy is just like the buddy along for the ride. Like they're not over sexualizing Amy as a character. I was so like just oblivious because I was like blinded by the 10th Doctor light. But back to episode 4, there's this back and forth, and you know, River lands the TARDIS, and she's like, "I parked it." And he's like, "Well, you didn't park it." "No, you didn't. We didn't land." "Yes, we did. I landed it."
It made a noise.
What noise?
You know, the...
It's not supposed to make that noise. You're leaving the brakes on.
Well, it's a brilliant noise. I love that noise.
That whole bit, like, melted my heart. I'm like, oh my God, Matt Smith, you're so fucking adorable. How did I not see this? But just the entire back and forth between them, didn't really see it, didn't comment on it. But the annoying thing is, it was so clearly there. It was then that I felt compelled to make this video. Some of you might think this is unnecessary, and that's fine. I think it's necessary for me to kind of get off my chest this kind of guilt almost about not giving Matt Smith a chance, not giving Amy a chance, not giving the 5th season a chance sooner. Because I said it wasn't until like episode 4 that they started feeling like Doctor and Companion. That was old Philip. Me, Philip now, present Philip. It was episode 2. Episode 2. They were there. And it's gotten better over time. Now episode 3 still I think was kind of eh. But 4 just shut me the hell up. I was like, oh my God, I was completely wrong. Holy shit. Yes, River being there was a great catalyst for so many things. And the Weeping Angels being the antagonists, great catalyst for so many things. Then prior to the scene about the noise that the TARDIS makes, she's like, hit the blue buttons. And he's like, well, they don't do anything. She's like, they're the blue somethings. I forget what they're called now. You know what they are. You know what they're called. But she's like, they're the blue blah, blah, blahs. He's like, and she hits them. And he's like,
well, it's just boring now, isn't it? They're boring us. They're blue boring us.
That line was so good too. And then there's another line where she's like, you need to do like an atmospheric check. He's like, oh, yes, you're right, an atmospheric check. He opens the door.
Nice sound.
He was so irritated that she knew so much more than him. Because obviously she does. She has pictures of all the faces. She knows about the adventures. Like she relishes in the fact that she knows more.
Yes, very much so, actually. She's loving every moment of it.
Yeah. Or that part where she's like, where Amy's like,
Doctor, how come she can fly the TARDIS?
You call that flying the TARDIS, ha?
it's little things that I missed. That watching, like while I was editing that episode, I'm like, I actually was legitimately watching the episode again. I was like editing, but I'm just like watching. This is a gold mine. This is a fucking gold mine of like dialogue and character interaction that I fucking missed. Because, yeah, I've done this season a disservice. To the point that I said I felt really bad about it. And I've been going back and trying to put like little things in the videos as I've been going to kind of like, no, I wasn't right here, and no, I don't agree with this, and you just stick with me. Like, episode 7, Philip is different. I'm different. I swear I've changed. I swear. Take me back, please. And then we go on to episode 5, and then she makes out with the doctor, and the doctor's like, whoa, no. I mentioned this already, though. I do like that how I liked how that was handled. You know, the doctor wasn't all, like, Tennant would have been like, oh. Smith was like, no, let's get your fiance here now, because I'm not comfortable with this. I like that. And that should have been my, like, I mean, I did see it like, okay, this is different. I mentioned that this is different than Tenet, but there was all these things, and I'm watching it, and I'm watching like, you know, over episode 5 and 6 and 7. You know, Rory comes in, and I do think adding Rory was a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
I just think he adds enough of an interesting dynamic as a character, you know, as her love interest. And with the Dream Lord episode, reaffirming that. 10th Doctor never would have done that, ever. Because he was far too selfish, and he wanted the companions to himself. And you can say he didn't. We'll have to agree to disagree on how we see the 10th Doctor. Many of us do, because many of you worship him, and I do not understand that. Aside from you think he's cute, or you were 5, or both. So the irritation is not only did I miss all these cool moments and all these cool character developments and like plot threads and awesome dialogue and all this stuff. The kicker is I was so bogged down by the portrayal of the 10th Doctor. This is another catalyst for me wanting to make this video, is that I was so in it and couldn't get out of it that I did not see that I was getting everything I ever wanted and asked for, and couldn't appreciate it until it was too late. I was appreciating it when Rory arrived, because I thought he was mitigating something that was there. But no, I wasn't seeing it clearly. Instead of mitigating, Rory is adding to the dynamic, as said. All I ever wanted, and I said I wanted an alien doctor who was not sexual, who was aloof and quirky, and a companion who was not sexualized and was just there for the ride. I know I harp on not being a female all the time. And people have fair points. They're like, well, you know, it's there so maybe like little girls watching the show can fantasize about being the companion too. Well, like, what about little boys that want to be the companion and little girls that want to be the doctor? But I get what you're saying. I do. But here's the thing. Tennant era, it's over. As you said, he can't hurt me anymore. I'm free. And the irony is, not only did I get everything that I wanted, I've been free for 7 episodes. But I've been shackled for 7 episodes to this specter of Tennant that just looms over me.
Post-Tennant stress disorder.
Exactly. It's a real thing. Clearly, it clouded my judgment for the entirety of the first 7 episodes in some way or another. So I got what I wanted. I got a doctor who has said, Smith's doctor is essentially asexual.
Mm-hmm.
He is aloof. He is very much an alien. And they've even mentioned how quirky he is. I said it early on, that he was quirky. And that was one of the first things I really attached to him. I was like, you're quirky. I like this. Amy, I said, not sexualized. You know, she's a beautiful woman. But they're not going out of their way to be like, ooh, Pussy Galore Part 2. Oh, skin tight. You know? I appreciate that. If I was a little girl growing up, I would want to be Amy more than I'd want to be the blonde nightmare. Like one of those two people needs to be in therapy, and it wasn't Amy. So I hope you can kind of see how I felt I needed to make this video, because the first half of the season wasn't as appreciated. It was enjoyed here and there. You know, it's ups and downs. It always is. I'm not as narrow-minded as people think I am. I've been accused of having binary thinking, where it's either this or it's that. Like, you hate Tennant so much that you just can't see the good in the episodes. I'm like, we have fucking medal ceremony. That automatically proves you're wrong. For the last time, YouTube commenters that don't like me, think about what you say before you say it, because 99% of the time, all you're doing is holding up a mirror to yourself when you type. That makes no sense. Basically, what you're saying is that you have binary thinking about me, but I must think this way or that way. How many season 3? It took us a month to do a medal ceremony because we could not pick our favorites. It was that good. So never once has my dislike of Tennant, which is extreme, clouded my judgment on the episodes. Never. Unlike my dislike of Tennant clouding my judgment on season 5, which has happened, and I'm discussing it. Because for the first time since watching this, I don't agree with what I said. Present Philip says past Philip was wrong.
There you see, YouTube. You've gotten what you wanted.
Because I was wrong. There's nothing wrong with admitting you're wrong. It's not weakness. It's growth. I grew as a Whovian, I guess. You know, as a Doctor Who watcher and reactor, and I'm proud of that. So this is a video not only expressing that, hey, I was wrong. I'm celebrating the fact that I kind of had this epiphany that it's everything you wanted. It's different. So just enjoy it, relish it, because eventually Matt Smith's going to leave. Eventually Amy's going to leave. So I'm making this video because now, as we start episode 8, I'm actually really excited to start episode 8, because it will be with a fresh perspective on everything that's going on. Even if Rory leaves in this episode, it won't crush me or bother me like it would have, because now I understand what the dynamic is. I understand what Matt Smith is bringing to the table as the Doctor, what Amy's bringing to the table as the companion, that they've had this kind of cool buddy-buddy relationship since the beginning. I understand Amy doing what she did in episode 5, where she threw herself at the Doctor. She was going to get married. She wasn't sure about it. She was having second thoughts. Here's this Doctor. Obviously, the Doctor is exciting and, you know, the hero and all this stuff.
It's a bit difficult to compete with the Doctor.
Exactly. I would say this is like the wrong moment for the right Doctor. Because I said she threw herself at him, and he was like, no, we need to fix this right now. I don't like this. So yeah, it's very long-winded, I know, but I wanted to be as thorough, and if there's stuff I've forgotten, I had a lot of stuff going on in my head as I've been editing these videos over the weeks, and, you know, just going on from the next one to the next one to the next one, get to 4, and just being like, oh man, I've done this entire season, you know, an injustice, and I need to kind of rectify it if I can. So this is my my attempt at setting the record straight and setting myself correct and saying that this, hopefully, knock on wood, the last half of the season should be, whether it's a great episode or a bad episode, my perspective, my point of view will be different, more diplomatic. It'll be more just seeing the forest for the trees and what's going on in this season, which I did not before. And I really regret that. I even said in one of the videos, I said I wish I could start season 5 over.
That would be good. We'd be losing the authenticity of seeing it for the first time, but it, in a way, would have done it justice, were it not for the fact that it would, compromise the video by making it seem a bit staged.
Yeah. We never reshoot anything. Everything you see is initial reaction. Like we said before, it's the series as we just watched. That's literal. We literally just watched. Like we watched the episode and then immediately talk about it every time. I can think of one time that was a movie that we couldn't because I had a migraine and we had to take a break for half an hour. Long-winded, I know, and I'm, who, me? Long-winded and ranty? Never. So I said in the beginning of the season that I wasn't going to apologize for my opinion. I guess I'm kind of apologizing not to, and I meant that in the way that I'm not going to apologize to the haters, to the people that say that I always complain when, ironically, you're the ones that always complain. Again, the mirror. Self-awareness would do a lot of people a lot of good. Just saying. So I'm not apologizing to anyone out there who attacked me. Like even some patrons who read the comments in episode 1 were like, I'm sorry you have to put up with this. And I'm like, par for the course. It's par for the course. But episode 1, I was completely 100% wrong. And I owned up to it. Just like through episode 7, I have been consistently wrong and I'm owning up to it now. So I'm not apologizing to anyone out there. And I don't mean to sound like a dick. I'm apologizing to myself. Because I denied myself a lot of cool moments, a lot of awesome interactions, a lot of fun stuff, getting everything I wanted, but not being able to appreciate it. So, to myself, it's like the waters were muddied for you and you couldn't see clearly. So it's more of like apology to myself, which is like, I know really self-serving, but it is. In this instance, it is. I don't deny that. That's why I'm making this video. This video is also very self-serving. I know that. But it's also just for my peace of mind. That way, anyone out there watching can know from episode 8 on, it's what I termed episode 7 Philip. It was just like epiphany, eyes open. No, I'm ready. Let's go. Let's do this. I'm fully on board with Matt Smith. I'm fully on board with Amy. Rory, I like him still. He's awesome. So I'm here for it. Doesn't mean I won't complain about stuff. If I don't like something, I'm not going to pretend I don't like it. But hopefully it'll be just from not that skewed point of view anymore. It won't be so Tennant-addled and 10th Doctor ridden. I said, hopefully this shed some light on my own thought process and my own kind of journey. Because it's been a journey. I went from, it's like when you're cheated on and you just don't trust anyone anymore. Tennant left, but I just don't trust anybody. I can't trust you, Matt Smith. I can't trust you. But no, this just showed me that I could have trusted Matt Smith a lot sooner, and I should have. Because if I had, the episodes would have been that richer. And the experience and the conversations would have been that richer because we could have had like an awesome conversation about the River Doctor dynamic that we didn't even touch because I didn't even see it because I was so blinded by what 3 seasons had done to me previously. I'm going to wrap this up. Thank you for sitting with me through this. And this is just me, blah, 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 blah. But I wanted you to be here because you were along for the ride. I wanted to kind of share with you, since you were there the whole time, what we kind of missed together and then what I missed mostly on me, from the episodes. So yeah, that's all. I'm sure this will be mixed reactions, and that's fine. You can react any way you want, and I can respond in kind. Anything else you'd like to add about the topic that I created?
It's amazing how much an effect a television show can have on someone.
Yeah, right? It's interesting because, like I said, it's the same character but different people, so you have to like readjust. I know I'm not the only one. I'm probably not the only one that didn't give Matt Smith a chance at first because of Tennant. I just did it for the wrong reasons. Well, you probably did it for the wrong reasons too because you thought Tennant was cute and awesome, and he is cute. But I did it for like different wrong reasons, I guess. So yeah. But the air is cleared, the water is clear, and I am ready. As always, I don't have a fancy outro. So I will simply say thank you for watching if you watched all the way to the end. And we will see you in the next one. Until then, goodbye.
Goodbye.